the CFO, Blaise Ngolia. We've also got our great senator from Central Florida, Jason Broders, with us. And then we've got Representatives Cobb, Smith, Plakin, Booth, Stark, and we have our school board member, Alicia Farron, is here as well. So I want to thank everybody. So I think a lot of folks know that one of the initiatives that we've championed this year is the auditing of state agencies, but also local governments with respect to how they're taxing and spending. And so we have had, and we have been doing this as a matter of course at state agencies anyways, but we're employing new technology, we're having contracts reviewed by AI, we're doing the Doge to the university system and looking under the hood there, and there's a lot there, trust me, to do it. And not just with the spending programs, are they following the policies? I mean, for example, Florida eliminated, I signed legislation years ago to eliminate DEI from our public universities, and there's no official, but do they go down 2 or 3 levels and start doing this or that? So we're looking at all that, and it's really important. And on the one hand, we in Florida, we could say at the state level, why would we want to audit? I mean, after all, just look at the record that we have had. They just announced, I think the federal government's got like a AA minus credit rating. Florida and every rating agencies is AAA across the board. We're ranked #1 economy 3 years in a row by CNBC. We have done historic repayment, accelerated retirement of the state's debt. So 180 years as a state. If you look, just since I've been governor, we've retired more than 40%, and by the end of the fiscal year, we'll likely get to close to 50% of Florida's total historic debt done. We now have the lowest per capita debt of any state in the country. There's a couple that don't have any debt, but of the ones that have debt, we're the lowest per capita. And if you look, if you go back 15 years ago, the average cost per Floridian, if you did debt per capita, if you just had to write a check, you would have had to have written a $1,200 check, which honestly is not that bad compared to the federal government. But today, if you had to write a check, we had to retire all the rest of the debt, it'd be $483 per person. Now, put that in comparison with the federal government. If they made you write a check for the federal national debt, it'd be about $106,000 per person. And so we're doing it right. Our debt is declining in absolute terms, in per capita terms, you name it. We've had basically 3 years in a row where the budget's been very stable. This year is spending less than last year. Last year spent less than the year before. We're still doing really important things. I mean, I just announced some. I mean, how many of you have seen the I-4 that we did in Polk and Osceola, where we did that lane? I mean, that's been really good. That's only the beginning. I mean, there's going to be a permanent thing. But, I've had people tell me, like, it saved them a lot of time to be able to do that. So we've done a lot of investment in accelerating these road projects because, it's like you have something everyone needs to be done, and they say, well, it'll start it'll start in 2035, and we're on it. Well, what are they supposed to do? Just sit in traffic for another 10, 50 years? So no. So we accelerated $7 billion for that. So you see the temporary I-4. They're doing things in Polk, Champions Gate, all these areas. Obviously, Central Florida is getting the most money of any of all that because, you have obviously a lot of needs. There's rush hour traffic. Then there's like traffic at any time of day. And like some of that stuff on I-4 can be any time of day, particularly in Polk County. So we're working on that. Made a difference. We're going to do more. I was just in I was in Tampa Bay. We're doing 275 widening there, similar to what they did on I-4 in the past. And that's going to take you up to the Howard Franklin Bridge. The old Howard Franklin Bridge that connects Tampa to St. Pete is being demolished. and we have the new bridge there, and then they're going to be adding the express lanes going forward. So this is something that's really, really significant. So we did that in big way. We've also done billions of dollars to raise teacher pay, which hadn't been done in a while in Florida. And obviously the local governments and the school boards have to make those decisions. They can always put more into that, but we said, here's money, it's got to go to teacher salaries, and that's been really, really big. Many billions. This year was 1.38 billion, I think we did, which is way more than had ever been done before. Proud of that. We've also done more for natural resources and environmental restoration. The Indian River Lagoon, amazing progress what we've been able to do. Everglades restoration, massive projects that we're doing. And then we've even gotten the Trump administration to delegate us some of the Army Corps projects that they hadn't started yet. We'll start them and we'll finish them a lot quicker. So that's great teamwork, and that's bringing huge things. But we've put billions and billions of dollars into conserving our natural resources and making sure we leave Florida better for those who come after us. And then we've also done things with respect to tax relief. You know, we did the thing, I think we did it for 2 years, where we did the toll rebate. So you got your tolls rebated 50% for the commuters. We made all baby items permanently tax-free. We made all disaster supplies, I think within some reasonable limits, permanently tax-free. We've done tax relief. We just eliminated the tax on business rent. We're the only state in the country to do that. Not what you want if you want to continue having a strong economy. So we did that. So we've done all of that to really give. But you know, we don't have an income tax, and we never will, as far as I'm concerned. But it's harder to cut taxes when you don't have an income, because the income tax, you can just lower that rate. We can't, so we go, okay, here's business rent, here's that, here's all these other things. But one of the things, and so we've done all of that with a good, stable budget. We have the second lowest per capita spending in the entire United States of America, although I will tell you, New York, it used to be New York had more people than Florida. Now they've got about 19.5 million. We got about 23.5. So we've got millions of more residents than they do, and yet their budget's more than twice the size of our budget. And yet our roads are better, our services are better, all that stuff. So we're showing you, how it goes. So we could, with all those statistics and all, I could just say, you know what, state of Florida, like, no, we are doing this. We're looking at the universities. We're looking at modernizing state. We're looking at all these things because you always want to do as good as you can do. I mean, you may be the best compared to some other states, but are you the best you can be? And that's why we're doing it. So we've done that. We're in the process of doing that. We'll be rolling out some good, hopefully, reforms, particularly with the universities, that'll be really meaningful. But the issue of kind of like the audits, and Blaze has said that our auditing of the local governments is the Florida Agency for Fiscal Oversight, FAFO, and that's kind of Florida speak for what they tried to do with DOGE in Washington. So we're doing this, but part of the reason why we were, as much as we wanted to do state government, which is important, the local governments were really where people, because I'd have people say, hey, can you cut our property taxes? And the reality is the property taxes are determined, administered, and collected at the local level. We don't have your property tax coming to Tallahassee for our budget. That's done to cities and counties. So if you have that, but what's happened over the years is you've had property values go up. And there's some positives to that. If that's your house that you bought for $300,000, now it's worth $700,000, and you want to sell it, that's obviously a lot of equity. So there's some positives to that. And then the real estate market was hot, and it was hot. Prices went up around the country because we had inflation, and it was weird kind of how people were buying homes during COVID and all this. But in Florida, we had a lot of demand of people really wanting to be here. You'd have bidding wars. You'd have all this stuff. Now, that markets go up and down. But what was happening is people would have homes that they bought 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 10, 20, whenever, and they're being told, well, actually, you owe more tax because it's worth a lot more now. And they get these assessments. And it's basically an unrealized gain. They're telling you bought a home for $300,000, now it's worth $600,000. You didn't sell it for $600,000. but yet you have to pay tax on that instead of pay tax on the $300,000. And even with homestead, it still goes up because they allow an increase. So people would say, you know, why the tax, all this stuff? And I'm like, trust me, I'm all for it, and we're working on a way to bring relief. We got to do it through the Constitution, the way Florida's government is set up, but we're working on it, and we're going to have something that the voters have to approve, but that will happen. And I think people are going to want to see it. But, you know, they would point out, they say, listen, you know, okay, I'm paying more in property tax, but the budgets are going up dramatically in some of these areas. And you know, you have some areas that didn't even have net population growth. I think Broward had no net population growth in the last 5 years. The budget's up 60%. And it's like, okay, you know, there was inflation. I get it. Like, we had to put more money into projects that I had approved in the past. And then they're telling me I need to kick in more money because the cost of everything. And that is true. That happened. But not at that level. And yet you see that all across the state. And so we really want to be a resource to look out for taxpayers. When you have a gusher of revenue coming in because Florida's doing well, people are buying homes, property values are going up, you know, the inclination for most people in office is to take that revenue and spend it. That's what politicians do. We look at it and say, well, actually, you know, what would be very beneficial for folks in Florida right now, particularly for families, is tax relief and property tax relief. We're showing you can do meaningful things in a budget that is half the size of the state that's closest to us in population, New York, and still make a big difference. So it can be done, but we got to be friends and stewards of taxpayers. So that was why this year we worked with the legislature. We got this audit authority beefed up. Blaze, as the CFO, has a lot of authority as well for any of the local governments that receive any state funds to be able to do. So they've been doing it. We had a lot of people, local governments, volunteered to have the books looked at because some of these folks want to see reform too. We had others that weren't as cooperative. And so Blaze led these teams on site to do these audits, to do interviews, and to review the spending practices and the taxing practices and the regulatory practices. And Orange County was one of those. There was also, he did Manatee, they did Broward, you did Pensacola, Jackson, City of Jacksonville, Hillsborough. So there was a lot. And I think it's been positive. I think there's been a lot of good things that have happened, but there have not been full cooperation with Blaze and his team. And, you know, we're here in Orange County because, you know, Orange County was not one that was fully cooperative. Now, look, Orange County, you know, it is an area that has grown some, but I think it's grown about 10% in the last 5 years, which is a lot when you have 1 million plus people. But the budget is up 52% in that same period of time. You went from $1 billion in 2020 to $1.6 billion in the most recent year. So that's a lot. And look, we want to look at this because if there are ways that the services can be done closer to that 2020 number, well, then all that extra revenue, that should go to your pocket as taxpayers. I mean, that's what we want to do. We want to provide relief. And you know, you see the costs of everything that have gone up in recent years, groceries, obviously home prices, all this stuff. The only thing that government, that we the people through government can control 100%, we can't, I mean, the state of Florida, I can't control what Publix charges for this or that. It's just not the way it does. There's all these other factors. Tax is purely controlled by we the people, in this case through our Constitution. And so you can have property tax, you can lower, you can eliminate, particularly for Florida residents. That's all within our power to do. So if people are strapped, if it's tough because of costs that we've seen over the last 3 or 4 years, the tax relief is the best way we can make a difference. And you know, the beauty of it is you've got senior citizens on fixed income whose homes are being assessed higher and higher. That's pinching them. But just think of what it does to a young family to buy a home and to not have to keep paying tax to the government for their personal residence. I mean, that's a huge, huge boost. So we want to be able to be helpful with that. And so putting this under a microscope is where, and you've had a lot of, and Blaise will probably go through some of the stuff for Orange County, but you're giving money to, more niche ideological causes in this county and some of the others. And, the voters can decide whether that's something they want. I think most taxpayers would rather have relief than some of the stuff that's being spent on. That's just what I think from talking with people and knowing. So we've had Blaise and our team, have interviewed different employees from around county government, including several who the county said was involved in things like DEI initiatives, as well as spending decisions in the past. But some of these people were reading off a prepared script. They wouldn't fully answer the questions and really left a lot of our folks not satisfied that they were getting all the answers that they could. So there's a lot of different things to unpack here. I think Blaise has been somebody that has been a real bulldog on fiscal accountability. He started as a businessman, he started getting involved in politics because where he was over in the Nature Coast area, Hernando County, because their county government was spending a lot. And this was in the 2000 to 2008 real estate boom. The property tax revenues are going in and they're spending it, as fast as they can. And he's like, wait a minute, we've got to police this. And so he was really made for this job to be able to go in and do it. So he has an announcement today about next steps on this, and I want to turn it over to him to make that announcement.
Thank you, Governor. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, rather. My name is Blaise Ngoli. I'm your Chief Financial Officer. First, I want to thank Governor DeSantis for his leadership on this issue, not only going in and making sure governments are running lean and being accountable, but also leading the charge on property tax reform. We know that housing affordability in general is a big issue here in the state of Florida because so many people want to move here. So I applaud this governor for leading on this issue. When you bring up property taxes with local governments, I think you're starting to see a trend when you see spike in real estate prices, that government takes the extra tax revenue and they expand government. They're adding programs that probably shouldn't have been added in the first place. They're expanding programs that probably should not have been there in the first place. And in addition, one of the things that they're doing is they're giving out raises to a lot of people in local governments. And now there is a huge disparity between what local government employees are making as compared to just everyday people like you, the private sector. As the governor alluded to, I have been involved in cutting out waste, fraud, and abuse at the local level for decades. So when this opportunity arose, the governor said, hey, I think we should do this and make it a mainstay, something that the state will do every year, which is make sure that we go into the books and hold local governments accountable. Now, when it comes to waste, fraud, and abuse, I will tell you, it is my opinion, and I think we have the data to back this up, is that local governments seem to be far and away the worst when it comes to this spending. Just to give you an idea, general fund budgets, the budgets that are the portion of the local government's budgets that are funded by property taxes, every single city or county have seen their budgets expand in between 60 to about 120%. Now that it is far outpacing population and inflation growth. So we have to ask yourself, where is all this money going to? Now, I have been boots on the ground with the teams around the state and in Orange County also. I'm not going to go into specifics about what we found, but I'm going to tell you what we found was pretty eye-opening. Now, we go through a couple of phases. First is the gathering of the information. We get all the information, then we crunch the information, and then we find some of the issues that we think taxpayers would be very, very upset with, that they were spending their money. Now, why is this important? This is important because we are going to go into 2026 and we are going to put, the legislature is going to put a tax referendum question on the ballot. Now, whether that question is getting rid of property homesteaded taxes altogether, which is our goal, or if it is a large property tax cut, you are seeing it now. Local governments are complaining and they are saying they're already playing defense. They're saying that they are not going to be able to cut because they're going to have to cut essential services. They're saying that they're going to have to cut fire and they're going to have to cut police. They're going to do everything they possibly can to scare everyday citizens and taxpayers into keeping the gravy train going. They never thought in a million years they were going to have this governor and this CFO basically shining the light on a lot of the wasteful spending. So just to reiterate, what the governor was saying is that over the last 4 years, there has been about an 80,000 person population increase in Orange County. But the budget has increased about 560 million, well over $1 billion, well over $500 million. So if you're looking, you could probably add a whole nother city for that amount, not just $80,000. So it is disproportionately out of whack where taxpayers, property taxpayers such as yourself, are footing the bill. So it shows me that they don't have to cut where they say they're going to cut. There is more than enough areas for them to cut. And I'm just going to say this right now. The first rule of government is to protect its citizens. So when you hear a local government saying that they're going to have to cut fire and cut police, they are doing nothing but trying to scare you, because those are the first things they should be cutting. The first things that they should, first things they should be funding. Sorry about that. If they're building their budget, the very first thing should be fire and police. So don't buy into the rhetoric of local governments that they cannot cut. So one of the things that we were doing, boots on the ground, when we were talking to the reviewers and auditors, as I was getting feedback, we started getting information from other counties saying, and basically telling us to point in this certain direction. We got a phone call from somebody inside county government and told us that there were people inside county government that were actually changing the names of files because we were looking for a certain keyword, specifically diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI files. They were changing the names of the files, the PDFs, the contracts, the tags on a computer system in an attempt to try to hide the information from us. Now, this was just a tip. We didn't know if it was credible or not, but we had to do our own diligence and we started looking. So after a while, we started crunching and compiling and looking all this data, and we saw some anomalies that were very, very strange indeed. So upon our team's arrival, we started receiving those tips that Orange County employees were possibly tampering with documents to circumvent our review of their egregious spending. So when we started questioning, what we got were some shady answers, some incomplete answers, and what the governor had alluded to, some people were just basically reading off of a script. Just to give you an idea of some of the things that we found, or should I say lack of what we found. So we accumulated about 1.2 million emails of everything related to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, there were 6 grants that were given out for DEI programs. When we started searching the 1.2 million, 5 of those grants were not alluded to in any of those emails. So I wonder what happened with those emails. So it's telling me that it is probable that we did have county employees try to hide some of this information. And these grants would have also been reviewed by staff, citizen review panel, but we couldn't find any of that information. In addition, some of the procurement documents that would have been sent out for these contracts, a lot of the information was missing from that also. So I started asking the question. I called up the governor. I said, I think Orange County has something to hide. So what do we do? So, which leads us to the announcement today. All of that is why I, as the Chief Financial Officer today, are issuing investigative subpoenas for all documents related to these grant programs. In fact, prior to us holding this press conference today, the subpoenas were signed by me, and probably by now they have been handed out to County government. In addition, I have issued investigative subpoenas for Orange County employees who we think were involved in the grant process, the interviews with our team, and uploading partial information, not incomplete information, to Florida DOJ. So I think it is very apparent that taxpayers deserve and have a right to know where their money is being spent. Now, I'm probably freaking out a lot of Orange County employees right now. My advice to you is when you are contacted and when you're going to be interviewed, do not hide the information. Be truthful with them. We know that people above you told you to go and change the information in an effort to try to hide the information from us. Don't lie to us, because if we have to, we will bring in FDLE and digital forensic units to find out exactly who did what. So please be truthful with us, be forthright. Our job is to make sure that we get rid of the spending in advance of a property tax cut. Do not put yourself in a situation where you're lying to law enforcement. When I took office, I promised that I was going to be a fiscal pit bull when it comes to spending. I think we're proving here today, and continue what we're doing every day, that we are rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse, and I'm going to continue to hold those promises. I mean every word that I say. If local governments hear my voice, and if they thought me issuing subpoenas, investigative subpoenas, were just a throwaway, sort of like a threat to local governments, well, Orange County fooled around, and now they're about to find out.
Okay, Alicia.
Hey, thank you so much, Governor DeSantis, for your strong leadership. We have seen so many victories just in the last, how many years since you took office, and under your leadership. Truly, Governor DeSantis is America's governor. I also want to say thank you to our CFO of Florida, Blaise Ingoglia. Thank you for being a pit bull, leading boldly and unapologetically. So I'm Alicia Ferrant. I'm a mom of 5 kids, and my husband and I have lived and raised our family right here in Orange County. As a taxpayer, I expect my hard-earned tax money to be spent wisely, and that our local and state government would be taking our tax funds and using it for good. The reality is we need accountability, and most importantly, we need integrity in our local government. God's word is very clear. Proverbs 10:9 says, "Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but he who makes his way crooked will be found out." This is one of the main reasons why I ran courageously and took a stand. And against all odds,
there's Orange County School member Alicia Ferrant. You've been watching as Governor Ron DeSantis and CFO of the state, Blaise Ingoglia, talk about issuing investigative subpoenas to Orange County, who they say have been uncooperative with their DOJ investigation. And they are going to be digging deeper into records, specifically having to do with DEI grants and some personnel at Orange County.
Not a whole lot of what the governor and the CFO said, at least for the first 15, 20 minutes, was new. They've been traveling around the state talking specifically about property tax cuts, claiming that governments are spending way too much money, too much of your tax dollars, specifically local governments. But this is the first time that I believe they have addressed audit results from a specific county. In this case, Orange County. Remember, they audited Orange County just a few weeks ago, revealing, as Matt said, that they have found inconsistencies. So specifically, the CFO believes that they got 1.2 million emails, and a bunch of those emails, he believes, are missing that, as you say, contained references to DEI.
Yeah, they say someone from the county reached out to them and said that files and documents, emails are getting changed, specifically the file names. And so then when they looked into those emails further, specifically about those DEI grants, they said 5 of them were never mentioned. So now they are taking it a step further.
And when they interviewed people, they said it was like the people were reading from a script. As if they had been told to. Much more on this. We have 2 reporters in that room with the governor right now. We're going to hear from them coming up right after the break.
News 6 Insider is sponsored by Orange County Library System.
Just to bring you up to speed real quick. So the governor is in downtown Orlando right now with the CFO, and they are doing a live press conference. You can watch that right now on clickorlando.com. The CFO just announced investigative subpoenas as part of their audit. This is a follow-up. Again, we have reporters in the room. We're going to hear from them. Apparently, they're doing questions with the governor.
That's right.
now.
And as soon as they get done with that, we'll join our reporters there. Well, News 6 is once again teaming up with a gift for teaching to make sure teachers and students have the supplies they need this school year.
Anchor Lisa Bell joins us live from Lake Eola in downtown Orlando with what we can all do to help. Lisa?
Yeah, today is a great day if you are looking to give back to the community, because today, every dollar that you donate to a gift for teaching becomes $20 worth of supplies. So we've been out here all day, been able to talk with a lot of people. You'll see that QR code at the bottom of your screen. All you have to do is open your camera app and scan that, and it's going to take you to a link to where you can donate. And as I mentioned, every dollar that you donate today turns into $20 worth of school supplies. We've been able to talk to some teachers this afternoon who have taken advantage of this program. So here's how it works. Teachers are actually able to go to their warehouse, here's a picture of it, and select what they need for the students in their class. They also have an online store where teachers can select what they need, even a mobile bus that comes up to the school and delivers what they need. And it's so important because we know so many teachers have to dip into their own pockets year after year to try and meet the needs of their students. In fact, they tell me some 60% of students show up to school without the supplies they need, and they will continue to need those supplies throughout the school year. So, as I mentioned, today is the last day of their matching campaign. Every dollar that's donated today turns into $20 worth of supplies thanks to all of their matching partners. We're going to have much more on A Gift for Teaching throughout the evening here on News 6, as well as how you can donate and how it's impacting teachers and students in our community. You can also go and check out clickorlando.com/giftforteaching to learn more about this organization that Matt and Eric, you know, we've been partnering with them for years. We love them dearly, and we see ourselves the good work they do in our community.
School supplies ain't cheap. Lisa Bell, so important. Thank you so much.
That's right. All right, well, it looks like a pretty nice day, at least where Lisa is. Is that the case all over Central Florida? Here's our meteorologist, Michelle Morgan.
Yeah, you know, we are tracking a few showers here across Central Florida, but isolated over parts of Osceola County, looking at a decent thunderstorm over Kenansville, which is southern Osceola County, and also Yeehaw Junction. Other than that, everywhere else is nice and dry, dealing with some sunshine and a little bit of cloud cover. Taking you outside here in Daytona Beach, looking gorgeous. Some folks out there enjoying the weather. No rain along our coastline, which is fantastic, but for the rest of the day, keeping rain chances fairly low, around that 30% mark. Temperature steady in the upper 80s through 6. Middle 80s by 7, lower 80s by 8, under mostly cloudy skies, and then overnight temperatures eventually dipping into the upper 70s. Now for the rest of us here, 73 degrees in the Villages, Ocala, again your overnight lows. As we head to our coastal counties, 76 in Daytona Beach, 78 in Cape Canaveral and Cocoa Beach, and 73 degrees in Ocala. So all in all, looking at a nice setup. So here's a look at the timing of the rain as we head into tomorrow.
Your forecast is sponsored by Renewal by Anderson.
I do think things will remain dry through majority of the morning, placing a 20% chance for a few isolated showers closer to noon, and then rain chances steadily going up to 50% as we head into the afternoon hours. So you'll definitely need the rain gear at least between 3 lasting through 7 p.m., where a few embedded thunderstorms could cause heavy rain at times. Forecast highs, we're looking at 93 in Orlando, 91 in Sanford and DeLand and Leesburg, 88 degrees in Daytona Beach, 89 in Palm Coast, and 90 in Titusville. So as you wrap up the evening, this particular model trying to pop a few showers over the metro area, it's certainly possible. So just have the umbrella just in case around that time frame. Heading into the overnight hours, things are looking nice and dry, quiet. Now we're at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, looking fantastic for that morning commute, also as the kids are heading to school. As we get closer to the 1 o'clock hour, we get the daytime heating as well as the sea breezes beginning to pop a few isolated showers with a few embedded thunderstorms. That'll continue as we go through the 3, 4, and 5 o'clock hour, with most of the shower and storm activity ending around 9, heading into 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Now jumping ahead to the weekend, an area of low pressure will try to form over parts of the southeast. That's going to be accompanied by a warm and cold front, and that is going to funnel in tropical moisture into Central Florida, and that is going to raise our rain chances between 70 to 80% across many locations as we head into the upcoming weekend. So just keep that in mind. It's not going to rain all day, but on and off showers and heavy rain certainly possible. There's a look at your 7-day, 93 tomorrow, 50% chance for rain, 92 on Friday, 60% on Saturday, 70% on Sunday. And because of the rain and the cloud cover, that's going to keep our daytime highs below average in the upper 80s.
Michelle, thank you. Well, some much needed help is coming to the coast.
Flagler County's fragile coastline is getting another major facelift. Coming up, I'm going to show you why Malacompra Park North here in the county is getting $9 million to restore the dunes.
Opening statements in the murder trial of a mother. I'll take you inside court as Erica Dotson hopes to convince a jury that she's not guilty of the death of her son. Coming up.
Our other big story this afternoon, breaking news from Minneapolis. The FBI director says the Catholic school shooting there is being investigated as domestic terrorism and hate crime targeting Catholics. Police just gave an update on the shooting in Minneapolis that killed 2 children and hurt 17 others. They were just sitting in morning mass at the school. They say the gunman shot through the windows while the kids were there during that mass. Moments ago, the police chief provided more details about the suspected shooter.
The coward that shot these victims took his own life in the rear of the church. That coward has been identified as 23-year-old Robin Westman. No prior criminal history. As to the weapons used to perpetrate this horrific attack, there was a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol. All 3 had been lawfully purchased by the shooter.
The children who died were so little, 8 and 10. Kids being treated in the hospital right now range from 6 to 14, some in critical condition. The chief said the shooter posted a manifesto on YouTube that showed him at the scene along with some disturbing writings. Again, FBI director says shooting is now being investigated as domestic terrorism and a hate crime targeting Catholics.
Central Florida mother is facing the death penalty tonight, charged in the murder of her toddler son. Investigators say she knew her boyfriend was abusing the 3-year-old and did nothing to protect him. Your Brevard County community correspondent James Sparvero was in court today as attorneys made their opening statements.
For the first time, we're seeing Erica Dotson on body camera after West Melbourne police say 3-year-old Jamison Nance died at the Grand Oaks at the Lake Apartments. Dotson came home from her job as a nurse's assistant at Holmes Regional Medical Center. She had left her son with Josh Manns, her boyfriend, while she was at work.
It's apparent on the body cam that Ms. Dotson was distraught when we first came in contact with her.
This woman was the officer wearing the body camera. Dotson's attorney told the jury in his opening statement that Manns killed the toddler while Dotson loved her son. In 2021, police said Manns abused Jamison for weeks, and Dotson knew about it.
Many people failed Jamison Manns, but no one failed him so profoundly as the one person whose job it was to keep him safe from harm, his own mother.
She loved her son, James. In fact, the day that he passed away, there's discussion in the text message about how they've saved money to go to Universal.
Police said other texts between Dotson and Manns talk about hiding Jamison's injuries and cleaning the apartment before child services came.
Do you struggle with dealing with the death of your son?
Absolutely.
Jamison's father, James Nance, took the stand on an emotional day. He was in a custody battle with Dotson when Jamison died, and because of an injunction, hadn't seen his son for several months. The state is seeking the death penalty against both defendants. And while we heard from Jamison's father, the state attorney's office has told me that Josh Manns, Dotson's boyfriend, will not be testifying in this trial. In Brevard County, I'm your community correspondent, James Sparvero, News 6.
All right, James, thank you. Flagler County's fragile coastline is getting another major facelift. $9 million was announced today for the northern part of Flagler County near Malacompra Beach Park to reinforce dunes that were washed away in Hurricane Milton last year. Your Flagler County community correspondent, Molly Reed, shows the difference that this project and this money is going to make.
You can see these dunes here are more like a tiny hill after the storm hit them last year. Now the dunes from here at Malacompra Park up to Marineland will be reinforced, built to be about 14 feet tall and a lot wider.
2 to 3 foot surge that was caused by the hurricane didn't really impact the southern end of the county much at all, but in the northern part of the county it did erode most of the dune that's there.
Hurricane Milton in 2024 left northern Flagler County nearly bare from a small storm surge. The county's coastal engineering team, wanting to reinforce before another storm hits, has been waiting since Milton for FEMA funding.
There was a long time where even the folks at FEMA that usually give me all the answers, where my project is, what's going on. They couldn't tell me anything. And
Today, Congressman Randy Fine announcing he was able to get the $9 million needed pushed through.
And what I was told by Andy and the other folks from Flagler County is we have $9 million that's waiting, that's approved, that's in the budget, that we've already gotten for the beaches, but we can't get a signature out of Washington.
Now with the signature, the county can get the work started ASAP. The project carrying northward the work already being done in the southern part of the county to reinforce Flagler County's dune system. A contractor is already on site restoring the dunes just south of this area. They'll pay them to continue north.
a robust enough dune system to get us through, a Category 1 or 2 hurricane.
Now I asked what if a stronger storm hits. The county says FEMA will provide more funding in the future if they have to keep restoring the dunes. This work will start on November 1st. I'm your Flagler County community correspondent Molly Reed, News 6.
In other Central Florida, Crosswalk is losing its custom design. Over the past few days, we've been telling you about the rainbow crosswalk outside the Pulse Memorial in Orange County, green crosswalks in Seminole County, and an elementary school crosswalk in Brevard County, all now painted over, as you can see. Well, now the checkered flag crosswalks outside Daytona International Speedway are no more. Your Volusia County correspondent, Angie Quesada, checked this one out.
It happened quietly overnight. The famous checkered crosswalks outside Daytona International Speedway repainted into plain white lines. The Speedway confirms FDOT ordered the change, part of what Governor Ron DeSantis calls a statewide standardization.
Well, actually, I didn't know anything about it. I really don't understand what's the big deal.
City leaders at Daytona Beach tell News 6 they only learned of the overnight work after it was already done. The removal comes on the heels of the Pulse Memorial Rainbow Crosswalk controversy in Orlando, which sparked national headlines.
I think it fits the area well. The racetrack's here. It's good. I drive by this road every day, 3 or 4 times a day for work. It never distracted me, but I think the checkered flag looks good in the road with the racetrack right here.
And while these checkered flags don't carry the same symbolism as the rainbow crosswalk in Orlando, critics say the state's message is clear. No artwork, no exceptions.
Negative, nothing whatsoever. And it's really, it's all about safety and not necessarily here, but in other areas it could be a distraction. And obviously if you do it for one, you got to do it for everyone.
FDOT hasn't said if more decorative crosswalks in Volusia County could be next, but for fans, the loss of this one feels like the end of an era.
We did reach out to FDOT about why the repainting was done now and whether more local crosswalks will be impacted. So far, we haven't heard back, but of course, we'll keep you updated as we learn more. Reporting in Daytona Beach, I'm your Volusia County community correspondent, Angie Quesada, News 6.
Well, Orange County is the latest in Central Florida to approve school speed zone cameras. Those cameras will be installed near 12 schools. A recent study found at least 20% of drivers in school zones were speeding, believe it or not. Drivers caught going 10 miles over the limit during school hours are going to get a $100 fine in the mail. Commissioners say the program will help keep students, parents, and staff safe.
I don't think any of us get in the car and say, we want to speed today, time, life, picking up kids, unfortunately it happens, but what we're trying to do is prevent casualties and accidents.
Before the cameras are activated next year, leaders will run a 30-day public education campaign.
We've seen a lot of tickets go out across
Yeah,
Central Florida,
so
as
many.
everybody else is adding.
Yeah. Well, with class back in session, we're teaming up with the nonprofit A Gift for Teaching to help Central Florida families, students, and teachers.
News 6 anchor Lisa Bell explains how you can help us get results for all of these teachers.
I'm News 6 anchor Lisa Bell, and we are at Lake Eola today where we are raising awareness for A Gift for Teaching. It's a local organization that provides school supplies for teachers and students in our community. And of course, they couldn't do all of this work alone, so that's why they rely on News 6 viewers as well as community partners like Albu and Associates, a construction company based in Central Florida. Jason Albu joining us now. And you were telling me that you decided to get involved because your wife is a teacher and she would have to dig into her own pockets every year to buy school supplies.
That's correct. Every year, my wife would spend over $1,000 a year on providing school supplies for the students. There's over 50% of the kids in school right now in our Central Florida area can't afford school supplies when they go to school every day.
When you think about those statistics, what goes through your mind? I mean, you saw it firsthand.
Well, it's really troubling. We have a need for, people are struggling to afford housing, afford food, afford clothes, and then of course, how are they going to get school supplies? But I mean, how are they going to be successful in school? How are they going to have a great future if they don't have these school supplies?
It's a very basic need, and it just takes a little bit of effort from all of us to do our part. And today is a great day to do that, because for every $1 that is donated today, it turns into $20 worth of school supplies. So all you have to do is check out that QR code at the bottom of your screen, or head to clickorlando.com/gift-for-teaching to learn more information about this organization and how you can help out. Back to you.
And I say no better cause, right?
Oh, it's so good.
Did you catch the launch from our Space Coast this morning?
3, 2, 1, ignition, engines full power, and liftoff. Go SpaceX, go Starlink.
And this is a fantastic time of day, if you don't mind getting up a little early.
that's
SpaceX's
great.
Falcon 9 went up again, sending 28 more Starlink satellites. Those are the mini satellites into low Earth orbit. This is the second flight for this first stage booster. That's the one on the bottom. If you missed it, you can catch another one in just a few hours. There's going to be an overnight Starlink launch. That's set for early tomorrow, just before 1:30. Worth it getting up for that one, too.
Yeah, the real Starlinks. We had dummy Starlinks yesterday going up. Pretty cool.
Lots of opportunities. Each week, this guy shows us some of the best restaurants here in Central Florida with his I-4 food tour.
Coming up, I'm going to show you the top spots I have discovered so far.
And we're looking at a soggy weekend ahead. At least today, we had some relief. Not a whole lot of rain in the forecast, but rain chances will be rather high across Central Florida. Of course, we'll talk more about that and how much to expect in your area coming up in my full forecast.
The I-4 Food Tour exists for one reason and one reason only, and that is to bring you the best places to eat in Central Florida. First up is the Bakery Colombian Cafe in Avalon Park, a bright spot filled with amazing people, Colombian coffee, and a traditional breakfast, the Calentano Colombiano. Steak and eggs, Colombian style. That's so good. There's a little crispy from the arepa. The steak is cooked perfectly. This is what dreams are made of. How can you beat a family-owned cafe that brings authentic flavors, local favorites, and food that looks straight out of an Instagram feed? I don't think you can. That's the Bakery Colombian Cafe in Avalon Park. Now to the next place, but first a quick thank you to our sponsor, Giant Recreation World, for allowing us to cruise around in their RVs. For lunch, I'm going to George's in Winter Park, an eclectic cafe just off the beaten path. It's known for massive sandwiches, and I'm here for the Philly. This is the star of the show right here. This is the Philly cheesesteak at George's Cafe. Check this out. The bread is soft. The cheese is very pulley. Come on, photographer, I know you're liking that. This is prime rib. These potato wedges took 2 days to make, all to get into my belly in about 5 seconds. Okay. That's a sandwich that'll change your politics right there. That's amazing. That's so good. The meat is crazy flavorful. This is worth a stop on I-4 for sure. Now to close out the perfect food day in Orlando, I'm going up the road to the White Wolf Cafe. Their pork tenderloin pinwheel is a local favorite and a creation of White Wolf's head chef. It's incredible. So here I am at the White Wolf Cafe, basking in the glow of a stained glass window, about to eat a pinwheel. A little risotto. Oh, good God, that is nice. Wow. This pork is super tender. All the little goodies in there. It's a lot of goodness in one bite. Wow, that is fantastic. Listen, I don't care where you live, that is one hell of a food day. But here in Central Florida, it's just another Tuesday.
Sponsored by Giant Recreation World. Visit Giant Recreation World today.
You know, it's really good there. It's an odd feeling to make yourself hungry. I don't know.
Do you ever eat something you don't like?
Once in a while. But we just
noticed.
Cutting room floor.
Yeah.
But usually it's good stuff. Yeah. Well vetted. All right, meteorologist Michelle Morgan joins us now. How are we looking on this Wednesday?
We're looking pretty good, Matt. You know, we're not tracking a whole lot of rain on radar, so if you're about to head home, about to start that evening commute, currently there are no issues. So it was a really nice break from the heavy rain that we've been experiencing for the past few days or so. But unfortunately, it looks like we will be entering a rainy pattern, especially as we approach the weekend. And then on the tropical front, there are no tropical concerns for us here in Central Florida. Tropical storm Fernand is still swirling over the northern Atlantic, but it's going to stay out there. It is going to stay a fish storm. Taking you outside, Daytona Beach looking gorgeous. Still have a few folks out there enjoying the warm water, but it is breezy out there. You could see that flag just doing its thing out in the winds because we are picking up wind speeds around 10 to 11 miles per hour out in Daytona Beach, all thanks to the sea breezes coming in and also picking up winds of 10 miles per hour over Cocoa Beach and Melbourne. Inland spots, not really breezy. Now, as we take a look at the radar scan here, tracking a decent thunderstorm staying south of Kenansville over parts of Osceola County along the Florida Turnpike. For everyone else here across Central Florida, looking nice and dry, seeing a mix of sunshine and clouds. So here's a look at your hour-by-hour forecast for the rest of the evening.
Your forecast is sponsored by Ramjack.
This forecast featuring Buddy from Leesburg. A lab doodle looking so cute. It's a little bit early to dress up for Halloween, but he is in his costume, just having a good time, just looking so cute there. This was sent in from Linda. And of course, you can send in your pictures, whether it's weather or pet photos, on clickorlando.com/pins, and I would love to feature them. So as you go through the rest of your evening, going to keep around a 30 to 20% coverage for a few isolated showers, a few thunderstorms, but the remainder of the day or tonight looking rather dry. Now forecast lows falling into the middle to upper 70s across central Florida. Tomorrow's planner looking nice and dry through 11. Rain chances going up to 40% around 2, then 50% around 5, with highs around in the lower 90s. But along our coastal spots, we're looking at upper 80s in Daytona Beach, New Smyrna Beach, and 89 in Cocoa Beach. So timing things out here in the next 24 hours, this model trying to pick up a few showers and thunderstorms mainly across the metro area. Fast forwarding things through the overnight hours, looking rather quiet, and then heading into tomorrow afternoon, you get the sea breezes going. We'll see a few showers and storms beginning to fire up here across central Florida, so just make sure you have the rain gear nearby. Now fast forwarding things into the weekend, a lot of models are indicating an area of low pressure associated with a warm and cold front is going to funnel in tropical moisture into central Florida heading into the weekend, and that is going to raise our rain chances as we go through that time frame. So it's not going to rain all day, but certainly many spots are expected to pick up heavy rain. So here's a look at your 7-day forecast. A high of 93 tomorrow with a 50% coverage for showers and storms. 92 on Friday with a 60%. As we head into the weekend, notice temperatures in the upper 80s with a 60 to 70% coverage for scattered rain and thunderstorms. And then Labor Day, expect showers and thunderstorms to be around with a high of 89.
Michelle, thank you. A lot of rain in that forecast. Well, the Powerball jackpot keeps on rising. It's now at $850 million.
Now's a great time to buy a ticket. In fact, we're talking to Central Floridians who are doing that very thing, hoping their numbers get called right here on News 6. Powerball jackpot is climbing once again, almost $1 billion this time around.
That's right. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez spoke to people as they tried their luck and bought a ticket.
Powerball frenzy. We've seen it before. We'll likely see it again. Of the top 10 highest Powerball jackpots in history, only one was from a ticket bought here in the Sunshine State. Despite the almost impossible odds, Central Floridians are hopeful we'll be able to make that list again.
It's time to play America's favorite jackpot game. This is Powerball.
Why do you play the lottery?
Because I have dreams, and dreams do come true. If you don't play, then, how can they come true?
The chance of the Powerball specifically is like 1 in 292.2 million. And do you think you could be that lucky winner?
Yes, for sure. Like I said, dreams do come true, and I play because I've had dreams. So we'll see what happens.
Big dreams and big plans. That's how people playing the Powerball felt in Central Florida, getting what could be a winning ticket. What would winning the Powerball mean to you?
It's life-changing. Allowed me to retire early and definitely do more traveling.
If you're interested, you have until 10 o'clock tonight to buy your Powerball ticket, and then you can watch the drawing live here on WKMG right before News 6 at 11 o'clock. Reporting in Seminole County, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
News 6 at 5 is up next. We're staying on top of breaking news out of Orange County.
Yeah, News 6 told you before anyone else, Orange County is being subpoenaed by the state. We're breaking down what that means and what's happening next. And while in town, the governor doubling down on repainting the crosswalk next to Pulse nightclub. We're looking into the law the governor says lets the state do this. And your forecast is only minutes away. Don't forget, you can stream all of our newscasts and live cameras like this pretty look out there at Port Canaveral for free anytime on News 6 Plus.
I think Orange County has something to hide. So what do we do?
Now at 5, the state blasting Orange County after their Doge audit earlier this month, the shocking accusations and the county's response. Plus, we're getting more clarity on what's giving the state the power to paint over colorful crosswalks across Central Florida. You're watching News 6 at 5. News 6 broke at first. Orange County remaining firmly in the crosshairs of state regulators. The state CFO says county employees were trying to hide information from state auditors.
And because of that, county employees are now being subpoenaed by the state.
So this whole thing started 6 months ago in February when Governor DeSantis signed an executive order to review 900 state positions and dozens of boards and commissions. At the time, the governor said he was inspired by Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, and shortly thereafter, the state requested financial documents ahead of their own Doge audits.
Well, fast forward to July, Orange County and the city of Orlando got notices to expect Doge teams to start showing up. Then auditors showed up to county and city offices earlier this month.
News 6's Troy Campbell joins us live with the latest on this bombshell announcement. So, Troy, you just spoke with the CFO one-on-one. What did he have to say about all this?
Yeah, I just finished speaking to him one-on-one, Blaise Ngolia, and what he had to say. He went and told us that, simply put, when his officials went into the state or went into the county's offices and they went to conduct their audit, there were certain documents related to DEI grants that they think they weren't able to be given. So as we first told you, as breaking news at 4, we heard from the governor and Florida's chief financial officer, Blaise Ngolia, that they announced that they have issued investigative subpoenas to Orange County related to their Doge investigation. Now, their claim is when state auditors, like I said, they showed up earlier this month, documents weren't accessible. Now, that's because they say they received a tip from an employee at Orange County that they were instructed to change keywords in documents related to diversity, equity, and inclusion. So they claim there were 6 grants related to DEI given out by the county, but they claim investigators can't find any emails related to 5 of those grants. It's estimated those grants are worth a little more than $500,000. They also collected a lot of emails. He says he has over 1.2 million emails from Orange County, but again, those don't include anything about those 5 grants. Now they're issuing those investigative subpoenas for emails and records for the DEI grants. The state says this will include investigative interviews with county employees. Now, overall, both the governor and Ngolia say the issue is property tax revenue is up and people are paying more for property tax than ever. Therefore, local governments like Orange County are now seeing a record amount of tax revenue. So here's more on what he had to say. What's next? What does this mean that's going to happen? Could we see more subpoenas issued?
Sure. Well, it depends on what the answers are. So this is the first round of investigatory subpoenas. We're going to be sitting down having interviews. If we are told that they were told by someone else to remove the information, then we're going to issue a subpoena to them, and we're going to continue until we find out who actually made the final decision to remove this information.
And then last, going forward, you have the whole state to look at. So there could be other cities and other counties that could face this if they do similar activities that you think Orange County might be conducting.
Yeah, the way I look at this, it's very simple. We have constitutional authority at the CFO's office, legislative authority under Doge in the governor's office. We are going to get the information one way or another. Don't lie to us, just give us the information.
So again, this is still very ongoing, and the investigation is just beginning. As you heard, he has the whole state to look at. So Orange County Mayor Jennings, he has always said that they're very transparent. He defends the county by saying they have Phil Diamond, the independently elected comptroller who audits the county. So he said there's no need for this audit. So what's next is we have to get reaction from Orange County because we hear that those subpoenas should have been delivered by now. Live in Orlando, I'm your community correspondent, Troy Campbell, News 6.
And Blaise Ngolia, Troy, also saying involving state authorities and state investigators, if need be. Much more to come, Troy. Thank you. While the governor was in town, we wanted to ask him about the state's repainting of crosswalks across Orange County, including the one at Pulse nightclub we've reported on so much.
Been the talk of the nation recently. News 6's Laverne McGee asked the governor about that this afternoon. Laverne?
Yeah, that's right. I was actually one of the first reporters who got to the sidewalk the morning after it was painted over and talked to many people who were there who were upset. Also some of the local elected officials who said that they didn't get any notice that the sidewalk would be painted over. Now, just moments ago, the governor was here speaking at this podium here, and when I asked him about whether or not he would reconsider this, he had a lot to say about the law. Take a listen.
So the legislature passed a change in law recently which said there's no street art allowed. And the Department of Transportation put out guidance recently, a couple months ago, reminding everybody. And this has been addressed statewide, not just on any issue under the sun. Blue Lives Matter this. They're doing it uniformly throughout the state. I think the street art got out of hand. I think it's much better that we use crosswalks and streets for their intended purpose. And I would say on this, who approved millions of dollars for a memorial? I've approved millions of dollars for a memorial. Not painting the road, actually doing a fitting memorial.
So that was the governor's response, of course, him doubling down, citing that law. And again, I was told by local officials that they did not get any advance warning. Now, our Orlando community correspondent, Mike Valenti, is also covering this, and he's looking into more of that law. Let's go now to Mike.
Outside the Orange County Administration Building at the corner of Rosalind and Jackson.
That is the methylmethacrylate, and it does smell bad.
Crews once hired by the city to install these blue-colored designs are now tasked with removing them. Steve Mitchell is the division manager for McShay Contracting.
My understanding is that it came down from the federal level to the state level that traffic payers should not be paying for political messages, and drivers should not be impaired. They're driving for political statements, is my understanding.
Does this strike you as a political message, the paint here?
I'd rather not comment. It strikes me as beautiful traffic calming.
On Tuesday, Governor Ron DeSantis stood by the state's efforts to remove art from crosswalks.
So all they're doing is just enforcing the law that had been passed. And I understand there may be people that disagree with it. I mean, you know, there's laws that are on the books that I enforce that I may not fully agree with, but I took an oath to do it. And so that's the way the cookie crumbles.
When we asked the governor's office what law he was talking about, staff referred us to FDOT, an agency that reports to the governor. FDOT has not responded, but it appears the governor may have been alluding to Senate Bill 1662, which does not mention art on crosswalks, but does authorize the withholding of state transportation funds to local jurisdictions if their traffic signals do not comply with traffic safety standards. And earlier this year, FDOT updated its policies to include a prohibition on non-uniform traffic control devices, such as pavement marking on state and local roads.
I have spoken with some Tallahassee officials, and it seems to be overreach. This is not what the Department of Transportation had in mind, is my understanding, when the memo came down to do such. So we're still trying to work through some clarification.
You mean overreach on the federal government's part?
No, I think locally this is going a little farther than the FDOT intended it to go, is my thinking. Certainly, I don't know that.
It's also worth noting something we discovered Wednesday while reading through state law. FDOT is, according to existing state statute, allowed to authorize exemptions to its own rules for, quote, good cause, meaning that the state could allow this crosswalk, as well as all the others from Daytona to Cocoa, to remain if it wanted to do so. I'm your Orlando community correspondent, Mike Valenti, News 6.
Developing tonight in Minnesota, 2 children are continuing to fight for their lives after yet another mass shooting, this one at a Catholic school there this morning. Police say the shooter walked up to the side of a church and shot through the windows towards children sitting in the pews during Mass while they were at school, this Catholic school. 2 kids, 8 and 10 years old, were killed. 17 more were hurt. 14 of them are children. The shooter took his own life. CBS News' Lana Zach is going to have an update from Minneapolis about what we know about the shooter ahead at 5:30.
Well, all afternoon we've been putting this QR code right here at the bottom of your screen. It's to donate to a Gift for Teaching, which is wrapping up its donation matching fundraiser today. Get a lot of bang for your buck with this thing. The organization is critical to helping teachers in classrooms across Central Florida set their students up for success. News 6 anchor Lisa Bell is live out at Lake Eola as they look for some last-minute donations out there. Lisa?
Yeah, Matt, as you alluded to, today is the last day for every dollar to be turned into $20 worth of supplies. Of course, they raise money year round to try and keep our classrooms filled with the supplies that students need. But your money is really going to be stretched a lot farther today, which is great news because the need is big. We were hearing from teachers earlier today that every year they dig into their own pockets and spend hundreds, if not more than $1,000 just to make sure that their students in their classroom have the supplies that they need. In fact, they say their statistics show more than 60% of students show up on the first day of school without the supplies they need. And a Gift for Teaching is really cool. It's a nonprofit organization that's been in our community for years, and it allows teachers to actually go to a warehouse or go online and select the supplies that their students need, all free to the teachers. And they can do that all throughout the year, which is why fundraising efforts like what we're doing today are so important. I spoke with one teacher earlier today about her experience with a Gift for Teaching. She's been teaching in Orange County for 13 years, and she gets supplies regularly from this organization.
So because of what I get from a Gift for Teaching, I'm able to give my kids that opportunity where they're not at a deficit, but they have what they need. And it's never like a hand-me-down because it's always just slipped so quietly over there. So it builds them up, it pushes them forward, and they know that, hey, my teacher got me, the community got me, and there are people who are rallying around me, and that just motivates them to learn even more.
So she sees firsthand year after year how important a program like this is. Just to give you an idea, this is a picture of what their warehouse actually looks like, where teachers like her can go and select exactly what they need for their students. Now, we made it real simple for you to donate. All you have to do is scan that QR code at the bottom of your screen. It's going to take you to the page on where you can donate. You can also go to clickorlando.com/gift for teaching to learn more about the organization and how, as I mentioned, every dollar that you donate today turns into $20 worth of supplies, thanks to all of their matching partners that they have throughout the region. For now, we're going to send it back to you. We're going to continue to be out here, though, for the rest of the evening, hoping we can get results for a Gift for Teaching. Matt and Eric.
Yeah, or just stop by and visit Lisa Bell. Pick up a koozie from our staff.
Yeah,
behind
come
you
on
there.
down.
Those are good koozies.
Yes, very much. If you have ever had issues with your neighbor, this usually goes one of two ways. You either find a solution or you do not. But finding a solution to a problem house can be hard when the homeowner is dead. Next at 5, the issues that these neighbors are trying to get resolved. Michelle.
And today was a nice break from the heavy rain across Central Florida, but that rainy pattern unfortunately returns as we head into the weekend. Of course, we'll talk about it coming up right after the break.
Today's Port Canaveral Cam is sponsored by Launch Credit Union.
So what if you saw this every time you walked outside of your house, just stuff seeping out from underneath that tarp hanging over the porch?
There's a lot of stuff out there. The homeowner gets fined for code violations, but that likely won't go very far since the homeowner is actually dead.
Yep.
News 6 investigative producer Erica Briguglio looks into who might be living there now and what can be done.
A quiet neighborhood where she could see a future. That's why Elizabeth Thornton says she moved to Lockhart 5 years ago. But then things changed.
Everything just went downhill.
Thornton's frustration began 2 years ago when her neighbor, who used to live in this house, died. She says it suddenly became an eyesore.
I noticed a lot of trash being accumulated underneath the carport. I noticed several strange people coming in and out of the property. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that this was an unhealthy type of environment.
Orange County Code Enforcement put this sticker on the window after finding multiple code violations. News 6 investigated, discovering those violations are because the property does not have any power or running water. Since those violations were not addressed, the case went to a special magistrate in May. According to county documents, the homeowner was given 15 days to fix those violations or face a fine of $1,000 per day. Those fines now totaling more than $90,000.
The homeowner is deceased. Who is paying the $1,000 a day?
When we asked Orange County that very question, we were told the next step is a lien on the property. According to court documents obtained by News 6, the home is facing foreclosure. News 6 reached out to the Orange County Sheriff's Office. We're told deputies have responded to this property several times. We found out deputies were called to the property more than 20 times in the last 2 years. Most of those calls were for a suspicious incident. The sheriff's office says it appears the occupants have permission to stay on the property.
You don't feel safe. I don't feel safe in my own home.
In Orange County, Erica Briguglio, News 6.
That is a tough situation. All right, meteorologist Michelle Morgan joining us now. I can see some activity behind you.
Yeah, just a little bit here, Matt. Tracking a lone shower across parts of Orange County this afternoon. It looks like it is beginning to dissipate, but some heavy rain staying south of Christmas for the metro area. Nice and dry at the moment. As we head to the south here over parts of Osceola County, looking at some light to moderate rain along the Florida Turnpike as well as Kenansville. But it looks like this will continue to move to our south and west. And for the rest of Central Florida, we are wrapping up our Wednesday nice and dry as I brought in the view. So here's what you need to know with this forecast for today. It was really a nice break from the heavy rain. We've been seeing so much rain for the past couple of days or so. So the ground is super saturated. So today, most of us, we got that break. But unfortunately, as we head into the end of the work week and especially the weekend, a rainy pattern returns. And as of right now, there are no tropical concerns here for us across Central Florida, but still tracking Tropical Storm Fernan, which will remain a fish storm swirling out in the northern Atlantic. Live look outside here in Lake Louisa State Park out in Claremont. Gorgeous shot here. I saw some horses just run on by, but looking pretty good in that area. Even a better shot out in Daytona Beach. The water is certainly looking inviting. A few folks there enjoying themselves at the moment, but it is breezy along our coastline as we take a look at the wind gusts. Clocking in winds of 13 miles per hour in Palm Coast, Daytona Beach, as well as New Smyrna Beach, 17 miles per hour in Sanford, and 16 miles per hour in Gainesville. So here's a look at your hour-by-hour forecast for the rest of the evening.
Your forecast is sponsored by Payne Law.
This forecast featuring Shiloh, looking so adorable there, kind of giving you that look from Broadview Manor. Of course, you could send in your pictures to me on clickorlando.com/pins, even your weather pictures, and I will feature them. For the rest of the evening, a 20 to 30% coverage for a few isolated showers, and then temperatures dipping into the middle to upper 70s as we head into the overnight hours. Now, tomorrow's planner looking nice. Looking dry as we kick off the morning. Rain chances going up to 40% around 2, 50% around 5, with daytime highs in the lower 90s and upper 80s along our coastline. Now, timing things out, this particular model popping a few showers and thunderstorms across Osceola and parts of Orange County as we head into the next couple of hours or so. Overnight, looking fantastic, nice and dry, and that's going to set us up for a pretty quiet start to our morning. As we go through the evening or afternoon hours, early afternoon hours, daytime heating as well as the sea breezes will pop a few showers and thunderstorms here, producing heavy rain at times, and then that'll continue through majority of the day tomorrow. Fast forward things as we head into the weekend, you're looking at the mid-level moisture, all of that green there, that indicates the moisture levels. We are looking at an area of low pressure that will be associated with a warm and cold front that is going to funnel tropical moisture into central Florida beginning Saturday and certainly on Sunday, raising those rain chances. There's a look at your 7-day, 93 tomorrow, 50% chance for rain, 92 on Friday with a 60% chance. At least the rain and also the cloud cover will keep our highs in the upper 80s, but make sure you have that rain gear nearby.
Michelle, thank you. After the break, the incredible show of strength and perseverance from one woman on the other side of the state.
All right, we're going to take it to the western part of the state tonight, where a woman who spent a month in a coma, lost her leg after a serious crash, is now sharing an incredible story of survival.
Asha Patel with our CBS affiliate in Tampa Bay shows us the moments she met those who saved her.
Face to face with the men and women who saved her life.
This was a way for me to remember who saved me.
On April 22nd, 2023, Shelly Graham's life changed forever.
As soon as I went to make that left turn, that was the last thing I remember.
She was riding her motorcycle through St. Pete, making a left turn on 71st Street. That's when she collided with a car, hitting her right side, sending her 60 feet up in the air.
Almost a month later, I woke up in the hospital and I was told that I had been in a motorcycle accident and that I had lost my leg and became a above-the-knee amputee.
In a coma for 30 days.
I met you when you first came in, and
Okay.
I discharged you to rehab.
Oh, you did?
Okay.
More than 20 hours of surgery, her back rebuilt with rods, both lungs punctured. Tonight, she's standing in front of the very people who gave her a second chance at life.
Those are the special moments they're not written down, they're only written for me in my memory.
This was her motorcycle after the crash. James King with the St. Pete Fire Rescue was one of the first on scene that night, and tonight getting honored for saving her life.
We responded in a timely manner, found the individual on the ground. It was a very challenging call.
Despite everything she lost, Graham refuses to let that night define her.
Scary as it might be for some people to hear, I ride again. I still ride a motorcycle, and I might just be crazy enough because I don't remember.
Wow, what a story. Well, police say she was wearing her helmet when the crash happened. If she hadn't, she might not be alive right now to tell that story.
Thank God for our first responders. Still to come at 5, part of Central Florida's Atlantic coast is getting a huge facelift. We're looking at how this will protect people who live there.
And later, how a business is stepping up to help a customer in need.
Glad you're with us. I'm Eric Von Anken. Lisa is out in the field. You'll see her in a second.
That's right. I'm Matt Austin. You're watching News 6 at 5. We are following several top stories for you right now.
In the last hour, we learned that the state is issuing investigative subpoenas for Orange County employees. The governor was joined by the state CFO who made this announcement in downtown Orlando. They say Orange County staff did not fully cooperate with an audit by the state's DOJ team earlier this month. Blaise Ngolia says, quote, Orange County fooled around and is about to find out, end of quote.
Across the city, crews hired by Orlando are clearing crosswalks with artwork and designs on them. The state sent the city a list of 18 spots they were not in what FDOT considered compliance with traffic safety standards. It's also worth noting, according to state law, FDOT is allowed to authorize exemptions to its own rules for, quote, good cause. A top Florida official says the controversial immigration facility in South Florida will likely be empty in a matter of days. Last week, a judge ordered Florida to wind down operations at Alligator Alcatraz within 60 days. The judge's ruling prevents additional construction and bringing any more detainees to the facility. The state has appealed that decision.
It has happened again, and this one is absolutely terrible. 2 children are dead, 17 other people, most of them children, injured after a school shooting in Minneapolis this morning. Officials are saying, thankfully, all of the injured are expected to survive. Investigators say the shooter, though, took his own life. And as CBS's Lana Zach reports, he was a former student at this school.
Parents walked hand in hand with their children away from Annunciation Catholic School, tears flowing after a deadly shooting during a morning mass.
At this point, we know we have a total of 19 victims from this tragedy. 2 were young children, ages 8 and 10, that were sitting in the pews at Mass when they were shot and killed.
Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara says the shooter was 23-year-old Robin Westman, who opened fire from outside the church with a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol, all legally purchased.
It was maybe 3 minutes in, the first shot fired.
5th grader Weston Halsney said he was just 2 seats away from the stained glass windows.
The first one, I was like, what is that? I thought it was just something. Then when I heard it again, I just ran under the pew. And then I covered my head. My friend Victor saved me though, because he laid on top of me, but he got hit.
School principal Matthew Dubois said teachers reacted instantly to save the students.
Children were ducked down. Adults were protecting children. Older children were protecting younger children.
Law enforcement is looking into the shooter's writings and online posts for a possible motive. But as details emerge about the shooter, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey says the focus should be on the victims and preventing future tragedy.
Kids died today. This needs to be about them. This needs to be wrapping our arms around these families with every bit of love that we can possibly show.
This was just the 3rd day of the school year for Annunciation Catholic School, which goes from pre-K to 8th grade. Lana Zach, CBS News, Minneapolis.
President Trump has signed a proclamation recognizing the shooting victims and calling for flags to be lowered to half staff at federal facilities until Sunday.
A Central Florida mother is facing the death penalty charged with murdering a toddler.
Erica Dotson, a former nurse's assistant, was arrested in 2021 when West Melbourne police said that she knew her boyfriend was abusing her 3-year-old son, but failed to protect that child.
Brevard County community correspondent James Sparvero was in court today as attorneys made their opening arguments.
For the first time, we're seeing Erica Dotson on body camera after West Melbourne police say 3-year-old Jamison Nance died at the Grand Oaks at the Lake Apartments. Dotson came home from her job as a nurse's assistant at Holmes Regional Medical Center. She had left her son with Josh Manns, her boyfriend, while she was at work.
It's apparent on the body cam that Ms. Dotson was distraught when we first came in contact with her, right?
This woman was the officer wearing the body camera. Dotson's attorney told the jury in his opening statement that Manns killed the toddler while Dotson loved her son. In 2021, police said Manns abused Jamison for weeks and Dotson knew about it.
Many people failed Jamison Nance, but no one failed him so profoundly as the one person whose job it was to keep him safe from harm, his own mother.
She loved her son, James. In fact, the day that he passed away, there's discussion in the text message about how they've saved money to go to Universal.
Police said other texts between Dotson and Manns talk about hiding Jamison's injuries and cleaning the apartment before child services came.
Do you struggle with dealing with the death of your son?
Absolutely.
Jamison's father, James Nance, took the stand on an emotional day. He was in a custody battle with Dotson when Jamison died, and because of an injunction, hadn't seen his son for several months. The state is seeking the death penalty against both defendants. And while we heard from Jamison's father, the state attorney's office has told me that Josh Manns, Dotson's boyfriend, will not be testifying in this trial. In Brevard County, I'm your community correspondent, James Sparvero, News 6.
Tonight marks 1 week since FDOT crews showed up to the Pulse nightclub in the middle of the night and painted over the rainbow crosswalk next to the memorial. Well, now another iconic design is gone too.
Overnight, state crews repainted the checkered flag crosswalks outside Daytona International Speedway. Your Volusia County community correspondent Angie Casada explains why the state ordered the change and why some say it doesn't make sense.
It happened quietly overnight. The famous checkered crosswalks outside Daytona International Speedway repainted into plain white lines. The Speedway confirms FDOT ordered the change, part of what Governor Ron DeSantis calls a statewide standardization.
Well, actually, I didn't know anything about it. And I really don't understand what's the big deal.
City leaders at Daytona Beach tell News 6 they only learned of the overnight work after it was already done. The removal comes on the heels of the Pulse Memorial Rainbow Crosswalk controversy in Orlando, which sparked national headlines.
I think it fits the area well. The racetrack's here. It's good. I drive by this road every day, 3 or 4 times a day for work. It never distracted me, but I think the checker flag looks good in the road with the racetrack right here.
And while these checkered flags don't carry the same symbolism as the Rainbow Crosswalk in Orlando, critics say the state's message is clear. No artwork, no exceptions.
Negative, nothing whatsoever. And it's really, it's all about safety and not necessarily here, but in other areas it could be a distraction. And obviously if you do it for one, you got to do it for everyone.
FDOT hasn't said if more decorative crosswalks in Volusia County could be next, but for fans, the loss of this one feels like the end of an era. We did reach out to FDOT about why the repainting was done now and whether more local crosswalks will be impacted. So far, we haven't heard back, but of course, we'll keep you updated as we learn more. Reporting in Daytona Beach, I'm your Volusia County community correspondent, Angie Casada, News 6.
Angie, thank you. We also caught up with Congressman Randy Fine earlier today. His district covers Daytona Beach. Here's what he had to say about the whole controversy.
The federal government, President Trump has said crosswalks are for safety. They're not for other purposes, and we've got to clean them up. And we can't say you've got to take away an LGBTQ monument in Orlando, but you can leave this one over here. We have to apply the rules fairly. Those are the rules. Crosswalks are for public safety. They are not for demonstrations or tourism or anything like that. It's not about politics, it's about public safety.
So you can find all of our crosswalk coverage of all these repaintings and the controversy that it has become on clickorlando.com.
Today we're getting results for A Gift for Teaching. That's the organization that helps local teachers make sure kids are set up for success this school year, your kids.
Yeah, all afternoon we've had a QR code right at the bottom of your screen to donate. News 6 anchor Lisa Bell is at Lake Eola with Jane Thompson, A Gift for Teaching president.
And so why is today a great day for people to donate to help buy these school supplies?
So we are wrapping up our Supplies for Success back to school campaign. It is so critical. We invite the community to support us over the summer, but today is the last day one of your viewers can make a donation online. Just look at the QR code on the screen, and your gift will be matched thanks to generous donors who support A Gift for Teaching and really believe in the future of our students' success, no matter what their economic background is.
So $1 donated today turns into $20 worth of supplies, and you guys make it so easy for teachers. They can go to your store that we see here in person. They can order supplies that they need online. You even have a mobile pencil bus that comes to them and gives them the things they need for their classroom to make sure it's a successful school year.
Well, that's right. I mean, we are constantly trying to make it as easy as possible for teachers to access what they need for their students. Because if you know teachers, they're going to spend their own money otherwise. And it's just our community is invested in supporting public school teachers and their students who need them the most. And they do that through us at A Gift for Teaching, and we're so grateful. We're so grateful to you and your viewers every year who help us promote this message.
Well, Jane Thompson, thank you as always. Of course, for more information on how to donate, how to get involved, and to learn more about A Gift for Teaching, head to clickorlando.com/gift for teaching. Back to you.
Lisa, thank you. Still to come, time is now to prepare for the next hurricane. We're coming up on the peak of hurricane season. This includes the beaches. Next at 5, the work underway to protect some of our coastal communities. Michelle.
And thankfully, there are no tropical concerns here for us here across Central Florida. But even though today was a pretty dry day, we have some rain heading our way to wrap up the work week and especially heading into the weekend. We'll talk more about that and how much to expect where you live coming up in my full forecast.
I'm very thankful. I feel very blessed.
And later, the act of kindness that's going for miles and miles. And take a break from those summer reruns. Try out the all-new primetime schedule on News 6 Plus. Tonight, Eric and I are going to have a new take on the news on News 6 Tonight. That's at 9. Go in-depth as we track the tropics and answer your weather questions at 9:30. And then watch the late news an hour earlier. That's all tonight on News 6 Plus. You can download that streaming app for free. Search WKMG in your smart TV's app store. It's also on Roku, Apple, and Fire TV.
Flagler County's fragile coastline is getting another major facelift right there.
$9 million announced today for the northern part of Flagler County near Malacompra Beach to reinforce the dunes that were washed away in Hurricane Milton last year.
Your Flagler County community correspondent, Molly Reed, shows us the difference that this is going to make for everybody.
You can see these dunes here are more like a tiny hill after the storm hit them last year. Now the dunes from here at Malacompra Park up to Marineland will be reinforced, built to be about 14 feet tall and a lot wider.
2 to 3 foot surge that was caused by the hurricane didn't really impact the southern end of the county much at all, but in the northern part of the county, it did erode most of the dune that's there.
Hurricane Milton in 2024 left northern Flagler County nearly bare from a small storm surge. The county's coastal engineering team, wanting to reinforce before another storm hits, has been waiting since Milton for FEMA funding.
There was a long time where even the folks at FEMA that usually give me all the answers, where my project is, what's going on, they couldn't tell me anything. And
today, Congressman Randy Fine announcing he was able to get the $9 million needed pushed through.
And what I was told by Andy and the other folks from Flagler County is we have $9 million that's waiting, that's approved, that's in the budget, that we've already gotten for the beaches, but we can't get a signature out of Washington.
Now with the signature, the county can get the work started ASAP. The project carrying northward the work already being done in the southern part of the county to reinforce Flagler County's dune system. A contractor is already on site restoring the dunes just south of this area. They'll pay them to continue north.
A robust enough dune system to get us through, a Category 1 or 2 hurricane.
Now I asked what if a stronger storm hits. The county says FEMA will provide more funding in the future if they have to keep restoring the dunes. This work will start on November 1st. I'm your Flagler County Community Correspondent Molly Reed, News 6.
All right, we have meteorologist Michelle Morgan joining us now. Overall, a pretty calm day across Central Florida, except for some spots.
Yeah, that's right. So I am tracking a few showers and thunderstorms. It is isolated as we take a look at the radar map. Scanning the skies, looking at a decent downpour over eastern Orange County this afternoon and providing some heavy rain, staying south of Christmas. Some light showers passing over Wedgefield. That heavy rain continuing to move to the south and east. Also looking at another isolated shower. I'm not seeing any lightning strikes here. This is staying south of Titusville. This is right over Whispering Hills of Gulf Estates. We're looking at some heavy rain in your area, but thankfully things are moving, so that's fantastic news. And as we head into the rest of the evening, a few isolated showers, some embedded thunderstorms are possible, but many of us missing out on the rain. So here's what you need to know for your Wednesday. Today, we saw a really nice break from the heavy rain across Central Florida for many locations, but unfortunately, a rainy pattern returns beginning tomorrow and higher rain chances heading into the weekend. It's not going to be a complete washout. There'll be a few breaks here and there, but we are looking at a significant amount of rain heading our way. As of right now, there are no tropical concerns here for us here across Central Florida, but I am still continuing to monitor Tropical Storm Fernan, which is a fish storm. It's over the central Atlantic, continuing to move to the north and east. Live look outside here in Ponce Inlet. Beautiful shot. You could see the flag waving out in the distance. Nice clear blue skies. It is a bit breezy in that area, picking up winds around 8 to 10 miles per hour wind gust. And then as we head to Cape Canaveral, 10 miles per hour, as well as Cocoa Beach. And for our inland spots, around 8 to 9 miles per hour. So I would say for many of us, pretty calm evening. Now here's a look at your hour-by-hour forecast for the rest of the evening.
Your forecast is sponsored by Publix.
This forecast featuring this cute three-legged cat named Tripod, sent in by Elijah from Titusville. So adorable, and again, he was waiting to be shown on the news, so there you are. And you can send in your pet pictures to me on clickorlando.com/pins, and I'd love to feature them. So as we head into the evening hours, we're at 86 around 7, 79 around 9, with a 20 to 30% chance for a few isolated showers and thunderstorms, with many of us, again, missing out on the rain. Overnight temperatures dipping into the middle to upper 70s, not too bad. And tomorrow's forecast, getting the kids ready for school, looking at a dry morning, then rain chances going up to 50% around 3, 4 o'clock. And that's going to keep our temperature steady in the upper 80s, but eventually topping out at 93 degrees in Orlando. And for the rest of us, lower 90s to upper 80s, especially along our coastline there. So let's go ahead and time things out. This model popping a few isolated showers and storms. Things begin to dissipate as we head into the overnight hours, looking nice and dry as we kick off our Thursday morning. Now, because of the daytime heating, as well as the sea breezes, we'll see a few showers and thunderstorms begin to fire up across Central Florida and then becoming scattered. Heavy downpours are possible, gusty winds up to 40, 50 miles per hour, and then most of the shower and storm activity wrapping up as we head into your Thursday night. So here's a look at your 7-day tomorrow. 93, 50% chance for rain, 92 on Friday, 60% rain chances between 60 to 70% on Saturday, keeping our highs in the upper 80s. And Labor Day, Monday, upper 80s with a 60% coverage for scattered rain and thunderstorms. So keep the rain gear nearby.
All right, Michelle, thank you. After the break, we're seeing a customer come in struggling, how one business is stepping up to help.
Coming up in the morning, a new push to improve safety when it comes to e-bikes and kids.
The local woman taking action to get stricter rules in place and how she's hoping you can help her cause.
Plus, as always, your weather and traffic every 10 minutes.
We'll see you for News 6 Mornings starting at 6.
Well, more goes into being a police officer on traffic duty than just sitting around with a radar gun out and waiting for speeders.
Very much so. This morning, Trooper Steve went on patrol with a Sanford officer who explained all of the ins and outs of his job.
You guys handle all traffic enforcement within the city of Sanford.
Correct.
What does that exactly entail? Because people are like, oh, you just write tickets. But you guys the Highway Patrol does not investigate crashes here. The county's not coming in. You guys are handling everything.
Correct, yeah. So we do all traffic crashes, as well as everybody is a certified traffic homicide investigator. So we investigate all of our own accidents.
Everybody's THI?
Yes.
So I don't mean to do these pauses, and Chris is looking at me like I'm dumb because I'm like, what? But I didn't know that. And that's kind of a big deal because, one, that cost money. That's training hours, absurd amount of training hours. And it allows the availability for everybody within the unit to have the same certifications and to investigate the same things.
So the story's going to put a smile on your face. A Georgia auto shop raised more than $150,000 for a struggling single mom after she brought her car in for repairs.
A surprise she never saw coming. As John Aspis with our sister station in Jacksonville shows us, this was an emotional day for everybody.
This is the moment when a mother's life was changed forever.
I'm very thankful. I couldn't thank you enough because you didn't have to do it, but you did it. And I'm just very thankful that everything worked out, not just for me, but for my kids. I can care less about me, but as long as they have, I'm okay.
Yeah. And what does that mean to you?
Oh, everything.
Annette Morales bought a bad used car. Those things happen. But when she brought it in for inspection, it was way worse than what Sherwood Cook thought.
We thought it was one wheel bearing. It ended up being both front wheel bearings on it. Were just so loud. In my 44 years of doing this, that was the loudest wheel bearings I've ever seen.
Annette and her kids don't have much, just each other and their faith. Cook and his team at Royalty Auto Service decided a repair just wasn't enough.
And I just had a really good feeling from Annette. So yeah. I wanted to help her out.
I mean, this is absolutely incredible. You guys have changed this woman's life.
By giving her more than just car parts and wheel bearings.
Yes, and that's when my son stepped up and said we're going to do it. Started GoFundMe on it.
It raised $160,000. Not only did the shop put on some new tires and get the car drivable, they made sure she came back.
You're going to come up here Tuesday, is that right?
To come and get the money that you and the community raised.
I am very thankful. I feel very blessed, and I feel like this was just by the grace of God.
And some good folks who saw a need and made some repairs to a heart that could use it.
It's just, you know, it's one of those things where you just feel like you got to help somebody, and, you know, just do it.
That is a life changer right there. Good stuff.
So cool. Here's what we're working on for News 6 at 6.
Yeah, we have team coverage in Orlando breaking down the governor's comments on Doge and crosswalks. Plus, a 20-year-old man appears before a judge after police say he fired off his gun in Winter Springs. What he says he was trying to do when police brought him into custody.
Well, Orange County fooled around, and now they're about to find out.
Just weeks after Florida Doge audits Orange County, state leadership issuing subpoenas on county workers, what they're hoping to find. Plus, shots fired in Winter Springs, the shocking motive and the charges he's facing. And getting results. Local tips from viewers help dismantle a tax prep scam operation. Today, the people responsible find out how much time they'll spend in prison. News 6 at 6 starts now. Fool around and find out. Powerful words from the state CFO Blaise Ngolia, who says Florida Doge has its sights set on Orange County. Ngolia announcing the issuing of subpoenas for workers and multiple departments. He was joined by Governor DeSantis in downtown Orlando this afternoon. The governor also made remarks about alligator Alcatraz and the controversial removal of state crosswalks. We have Troy Campbell live for us with more on this. Troy?
And we just got a statement from Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings denying the allegations that the governor and the chief financial officer laid out here this afternoon. Now, looking at the statement from him, he's saying that they were fully cooperative with Florida's Doge audit team, providing all the data and documents requested. They say no employees were instructed to alter, change, or delete any documents. He said while their employees may have read or referred to notes or documents being discussed by the Doge team, employees were not scripted in their remarks. The state has offered no evidence to support its allegation that we were hiding information or acting without integrity. It closes out with saying we welcome the opportunity for public transparency on the issue. So earlier we did speak with Florida's chief financial officer, Blaise Ngolia, who essentially says when his auditors showed up to Orange County's administration building, there were documents that they were not able to see. Now, as we first told you, as breaking news as 4 p.m., we heard from Governor Ron DeSantis and Florida's chief financial officer, Blaise Ngolia. They announced that they issued investigative subpoenas to Orange County related to their Doge investigation. Now, the claim is when state auditors showed up to see documents at Orange County, there were documents not accessible to them. Now, that's because Ngolia says first they received a tip that an Orange County employee was instructed to change key words in documents related to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, they claim there were 6 grants related to DEI given out by the county. However, they claim their investigation can't find any emails for 5 of those grants. It's estimated those grants are worth more than $500,000. In total, he says the state has already collected more than 1 million emails from the county. But now they're issuing this investigative subpoena for more emails and records for the DEI grants. The state says this could also include investigative interviews with county employees. Now, overall, both the governor and Ngolia say the issue is property tax revenue is up and people are paying more for property tax than ever. So therefore, local governments like Orange County are seeing a record amount of tax revenue. So they're looking at the specifics of where that money is being spent. Here's some of what he had to say. What's next? What does this mean that's going to happen? Could we see more subpoenas issued?
Sure. Well, it depends on what the answers are. So this is the first round of investigatory subpoenas. We're going to be sitting down having interviews. If we are told that they were told by someone else to remove the information, then we're going to issue a subpoena to them, and we're going to continue until we find out who actually made the final decision to remove this information.
And then last, going forward, you have the whole state to look at. So there could be other cities and other counties that could face this if they do similar activities that you think Orange County might be conducting.
Yeah, the way I look at this, it's very simple. We have constitutional authority at the CFO's office, legislative authority under Doge in the governor's office. We are going to get the information one way or another. Don't lie to us, just give us the information.
And again, Mayor Demings issuing a statement denying these allegations, saying that all county employees were cooperative with the state Doge team. They handed over all the documents that were requested to them. And now he says he welcomes transparency. Live in Orlando, I'm your community correspondent, Troy Campbell, News 6.
All right, Troy, thank you. The governor also speaking on the controversy surrounding state crosswalks, particularly the one at the former Pulse nightclub. FDOT painted back over the rainbow crosswalk this weekend after protesters filled it in with chalk. Now, many people are asking about the state's response, especially FDOT's. Our team coverage continues with Laverne McGee. She was at that press conference and asked the governor about the controversy. Laverne.
Well, basically, the governor told me that he's not opposed to the memorial. He's pretty much opposed to the sidewalk being a part of the memorial. Now, I was one of the first reporters who was there the morning that they discovered that it was painted over. There were people there, elected officials, really in shock after having been used to seeing that rainbow sidewalk. And so I had asked the governor if he wanted to maybe reconsider that. Here's what he had to say.
So the legislature passed a change in law recently which said there's no street art allowed. And the Department of Transportation put out guidance recently, a couple months ago, reminding everybody. And this has been addressed statewide, not just on any issue under the sun. Blue Lives Matter this. They're doing it uniformly throughout the state. I think the street art got out of hand. I think it's much better that we use crosswalks and streets for their intended purpose. And I would say on this, who approved millions of dollars for a memorial? I've approved millions of dollars for a memorial. Not painting the road, actually doing a fitting memorial.
Now, city officials are taking a deep dive into that law, taking a close look at it. We've reached out to them to see if they have a comment after Governor DeSantis said this today, and we're still waiting to hear back from them. Reporting live in Orange County, Laverne McGee, News 6.
Thank you, Laverne. There's much more from the governor and CFO's remarks. For a full recap and any of the latest updates related to this story, you can find the info on this article on clickorlando.com. As a reminder, we live stream many events, including this one, online and on the free News 6 mobile app. All right, well, we will be right back after just a minute.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Advent Health, helping the communities we serve to feel whole.
Several years ago, customers of a local tax prep business contacted News 6 complaining they were being ripped off. Now, as a result, our News 6 investigation into those consumer complaints, the company's owners are headed to prison. Investigator Mike DeForest is live at the federal courthouse in Orlando, where 2 of the tax preparers were just sentenced. And Mike, this is a big deal.
Matt, every now and then our News 6 investigations lead to folks going to prison, and this is one of those cases. Take a look at some video we shot just a little while ago of Franklin Carter arriving at the federal courthouse. Just a few years ago, prosecutors say he was driving a $6,000 a month Lamborghini. Now he's beginning a 7-year prison sentence. Federal prosecutors say Carter and 2 other men, Emmanuel Almanor and Jonathan Carrillo, ran a tax preparation business called Neighborhood Advance Tax, located in strip malls throughout Central Florida. A few years ago, News 6 began hearing complaints about the business, which promised customers the biggest tax refund possible. Now, those customers who paid big bucks to the company usually would receive big tax refunds, but later the IRS audited customers and forced them to pay all that money back. That's because prosecutors say employees of the company falsified customers' tax returns by including inflated deductions and charitable contributions. Just days after News 6 began reporting on the business, the IRS launched a criminal investigation. The owners later pleaded guilty to defrauding the government. Emmanuel Almanor, seen on the left, has been sentenced to nearly 5 years in prison. Jonathan Carrillo in the middle will go to prison for 12 years. And Franklin Carter on the right will serve 7 years. Now, besides these owners, 5 employees of the company have also pleaded guilty to federal charges. Now, prosecutors say this scheme cost the U.S. government, in other words, taxpayers like you and me, more than $12 million. As part of their sentences, those defendants will be required to pay that money back. Reporting live in downtown Orlando, Mike DeForest, News 6. Back to you, Matt.
We are talking a lot of money there. Mike DeForest, nice work. Thank you. Well, tonight, News 6 has the body cam video and the arrest report from when Winter Springs police say a 20-year-old drunkenly opened fire near 3 of their officers overnight. The department says those officers were just eating dinner outside their patrol cars in the parking lot of a church when they heard several shots being fired. Our Seminole County community correspondent, Catherine Silver, is the first to show you video of the moment police made that arrest.
We're on the other side of those woods there, man. Ooh. Yeah, you trying to shoot at us?
When Winter Springs police caught up to Devin Williams, they say it was less than a minute since he started firing shots.
He said he was firing it to get your attention.
Well, you got it.
Radio recordings show the communication as it unfolded after midnight near 434 and 419, and then the aftermath once Williams was in custody.
Where'd you shoot your gun? He said he's a little drunk. Hey, genius, look at me. Where'd you shoot your gun?
Officers say they heard 5 shots as they were outside their patrol cars eating dinner.
Heard 4 shots. We started getting the car. On the 5th one, there was a whiz right behind our cars.
They believe Williams was firing towards them.
We were at the bus barn. We definitely heard it.
Yeah, no, he's shooting this way.
Towards you guys?
Yeah.
But at a first appearance hearing Wednesday afternoon, a judge did not find probable cause for 3 charges of aggravated assault.
I do see, though, that the law enforcement officer did indicate that they were in fear as a result of the shot.
Williams is still being held in jail on other charges, including firing a weapon while under the influence.
What were you shooting at?
I didn't shoot at anybody.
Hey, man.
Police say he denied the allegations at first, but later admitted he wanted to get the officers' attention. An arrest report for Williams also says the officers found 2 guns, one in his pants and another in a backpack, along with a flashlight, various tools, and an empty bottle of port wine.
I don't do nothing.
Police believe Williams was going to use those tools to break into various properties. They also discovered that second firearm we told you about was reported stolen from a vehicle burglary in Orlando earlier this summer. In Seminole County, I'm Catherine Silver, News 6.
Helping Central Florida's families, that's the goal for a Gift for Teaching, a very special fundraiser being held right now at Lake Eola. News 6's Lisa Bell has been out there all day. Lisa, what can you tell us about the efforts being made right now?
Well, Matt, what I can tell you is that we all love our teachers, right? And we all understand and we all realize the sacrifices that they make every year. They have to oftentimes dig into their own pockets just to get the supplies that their students and their classrooms need, which is why we love the organization, A Gift for Teaching, so much. So all day we have been out here with the folks from A Gift for Teaching, trying to support them and raise awareness. And today is a key day because they, of course, raise money year round to buy supplies, which are needed year round. But today, every dollar that is donated turns into $20 worth of supplies, thanks to all of their community partners and corporate partners that they have. So I want to show you how it works. Teachers are able to actually go to a warehouse in Orange County and shop free of charge for any sort of supplies they need. This is a picture of what that warehouse looks like. And we're talking everything from backpacks to pencils, anything that they might need for their classrooms. I spoke with one teacher earlier today who has worked in Orange County as a third grade teacher for going on 13 years now, and she says this organization is key to her kids' success.
A Gift for Teaching means so much for me and my kids. This organization supplies us with much needed supplies. A lot of parents or people don't recognize that kids come to school and they don't bring the necessary supplies on the first day of school. So they show up empty-handed, and when they look over at their friends who brought everything, that kind of makes them feel some sort of ill feelings. So having A Gift for Teaching step in and give us materials, we're able to pass that immediately onto the kids so they never feel that lack of confidence. They never feel like they're behind the starting line. So they're right there with their peers who are able to have stuff. So it's a very important organization to create equitable learning in my classroom.
So that is what today is all about. We are here working to get results for A Gift for Teaching. As I mentioned, every dollar that is donated today and today only turns into $20 worth of supplies. We made it really easy for you to donate. Just scan that QR code that you see at the bottom of your screen. Take out your phone, open your camera app, and it will link you to where you need to go to make that donation. You can also find more information about A Gift for Teaching by heading to our website, clickorlando.com/gift for teaching. Back to you, Matt.
All right, Lisa Bell, $1 for $20 worth of supplies. You cannot beat that. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Meteorologist Michelle Morgan joining me now at the desk. You feel that? You feel the difference in the air? Neither do I. But apparently there is a front upon us.
I was going to say it's because I'm sitting next to you.
Yes, it is your aura. Maybe that's
it feels a little bit better in this area. I'm just kidding.
True, it's possible.
Yeah, so you're right. There is a front that moved through, but now it's stationary. It's hanging over Central Florida, and we are seeing a few isolated showers and thunderstorms popping. So I do want to show you the radar scan here. So this particular thunderstorm that's over parts of Orange County, it is a strong one. We are looking at a special weather statement that has been issued because it is producing gusty winds up to 40, even 50 miles per hour. Obviously, a ton of lightning associated with this particular storm. Now, this storm is staying south of Christmas. Heavy rain at the moment, but it is moving slowly to the south-southwest at 17 miles per hour. So it should move into Osceola County in about 30 minutes or so. Also looking at a few downpours staying south of Morningside Park. You could see it there on your screen. And also looking at a few showers here staying south and east of Taft. Other than that, everyone else is pretty dry at the moment. So here's why we're seeing a few isolated showers and thunderstorms. We are looking at a stationary front that is hanging overhead. So that is exactly where we're seeing those showers and storms pop. Behind that frontal boundary, drier air will continue to move in. So it also feels not as humid out there, especially in these areas that is north of this frontal boundary. So parts of Flagler, Volusia, Lake, as well as parts of Ocala out in Marion County. So here's what you need to know. Today, a nice break from the heavy rain for many locations, but unfortunately a rainy pattern returns to us here across Central Florida. Beginning tomorrow, rain chances really ramping up as we head into the weekend. So if you're looking forward to more rain, it's on the way. And as of right now, there are no tropical concerns here for us here across Central Florida, but I'm still continuing to monitor Tropical Storm Fernan, which is swirling over the northern Atlantic, and it is a fish storm. So today we saw a high of 94 degrees. Temperatures were in the lower 70s. Didn't pick up any rain at the airport for now. And the rest of your planner here for the evening, a 20 to 30% chance for a few showers. By 8, we're at 80. Overnight temperatures dipping to 76 degrees in Orlando. So here's a look at your hour-by-hour forecast for tomorrow.
Sponsored by Strata Air Conditioning and Heating. AC emergency, you ought to call Strata.
It'll be a nice and dry, pleasant start as we kick off our Thursday morning with abundant sunshine, around 77 degrees, 86 by 11. But by 1, 2 o'clock, rain chance is beginning to go up to 40%. We're in the upper 80s and lower 90s, and then about a 50% coverage for scattered rain and a few embedded thunderstorms producing heavy rain and gusty winds at times. Now your forecast highs, here's where we're heading tomorrow. High of 93 in Orlando, 90 in Kissimmee, Sanford, and DeLand, 89 in Melbourne, and 90 degrees in Titusville. So let's go ahead and talk about the timing here. Your clouds and rain forecast through the next 24 hours. Notice this particular model popping isolated showers and storms over the metro area in the next couple of hours. Overnight conditions looking nice and dry and quiet. That's going to set us up for a quiet start to our morning tomorrow. But as I fast forward things into the afternoon hours, particularly around the 1, 2 o'clock hour, we get the daytime heating, the sea breeze is going, and notice how scattered the showers are. That'll continue through majority of the afternoon. Hit or miss rain, quick downpours. You may hear a few claps of thunder. Again, most of the shower and storm activity should dissipate as we head into tomorrow night. Now, jumping ahead to the weekend, you're looking at the mid-level moisture. Area of low pressure associated with a warm and cold front is going to funnel tropical moisture into central Florida beginning on Saturday, lasting through Sunday. Will it be a complete washout? No, but many locations will get the opportunity of seeing heavy rain at times. So just keep that in mind. In terms of the rainfall forecast in the next several days, it looks like it just updated. Most spots here highlighted in yellow could potentially pick up between 2 to 3 inches of rainfall. This is through Sunday. And other areas you could see here isolated between 1 to 2 inches. So good soaking rain heading our way. Now an update on Tropical Storm Fernan, which is the only named storm out in the open Atlantic. Winds of 50 miles per hour, moving to the east-northeast at 15 miles per hour, holding on to its tropical storm status as we head into our Thursday, not bothering anyone. There's a look at your 7-day. 93 tomorrow, 50% chance for rain, 92 on Friday, 60%, upper 80s heading into the weekend. And again, as we look into Labor Day, we're looking pretty good. We'll see scattered rain here and there, so make sure you have that rain gear nearby. But temperatures will be steady in the upper 80s due to the cloud cover and also the heavy rain.
All right, Michelle, thank you. Sports Director Jamie Say is here. Big matchup in South Florida this week.
Yeah, I mean, Orlando City is in Fort Lauderdale right now to take on their rivals tonight. That's coming up. Plus, Hurricane football fans are counting down to Sunday. I'll have previews of both. But first, the best trophy in sports visits the happiest place on earth today. Florida Panthers center Evan Rodriguez brought his family and the Stanley Cup to Epcot today, posing with Goofy and dumping maple popcorn on his kids, because why not? More sports next. Welcome back to News 6. Orlando City Soccer gets the chance to knock their rivals out of championship contention. Tonight, the Lions take on Inter Miami in the League's Cup semifinals. Kickoff is at 8:30 in Fort Lauderdale. This is round 3 between the two teams. Orlando City and Inter Miami have already played twice this season in Major League Soccer competitions. And the Lions really roared in both meetings, beating Inter Miami 3-0. And then just weeks ago, 4-1. Tonight, it's for a spot in the League's Cup championship match and, of course, for respect.
It's very meaningful for all of us and both clubs and teams, and we'll do what we can to advance.
But at the end of the day, I think it's a rivalry. You know, we have to win. We want to win. You know, it's League's Cup. We want to get a trophy. So I feel like at the end of the day, this is a must-win game for us.
Superstar Leo Messi did not play the last time Orlando City and Inter Miami met, but he is expected to play tonight as he comes back from a muscle injury. Messi trained with Inter Miami yesterday and the day before. Now, the hottest ticket in South Florida this week is Sunday night showdown at Hard Rock Stadium. 10th-ranked Miami kicks off the season against number 6 Notre Dame. It'll be the 28th meeting all-time between the storied programs, the first meeting between the two since 2017. And just a terrific opening test for both sides. Miami is the highest-ranked team on Notre Dame's schedule, and Notre Dame is the highest-ranked team on Miami's schedule. Both sides have aspirations to make the college football playoffs. Sunday's outcome could be a deciding factor.
They're loaded with experience, big jumbo athletes, physical guys up front on both sides of the ball. They returned 11 starters, and the portal guys they got were starters.
There's no lack of motivation. I hope there never is, but you know, especially when you play an opponent like Miami on the road, our guys are extremely driven, focused, motivated.
So my next-door neighbors are getting their RV ready, and that can only mean one thing. They're heading to Tallahassee this weekend for Florida State and Alabama. FSU takes on the Crimson Tide at the Doak Saturday, 3:30. Bama's led by first-year starting quarterback Ty Simpson. They're favored by 2 touchdowns. I can tell you Knowles newcomers are eager for the challenge. We'll hear from them tonight at 11.
Do your neighbors have room for me?
They might.
That sounds,
it's a large RV.
I'm inviting myself. More news coming up at 9 o'clock on clickorlando.com. Have a great night.